morning time of life.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm VAWLS JP.
And I'm Dauber.
And I'm the Indie Kid.
Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about. I was just saying right before we went live, leading into this show, I was like, I don't know what we're going to discuss. I don't know what we're going to talk about. You guys want us to go live, so we'll do it. But holy cow, rumors galore. It's been a lot of fun scrolling the general's quarters on VolQuest today. But welcome to the show, Talkin VAWLS, episode number 126. Let's see who is hanging out in the chat. We got Tamagotchi saying hiring freeze. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Titan God Joey Watt says Pruitt's time is done. Depends on who you ask. Kendrick is here. He's all about Chadwell to the hill. Space Mountain says, let's give Pruitt an extension and a raise. That's okay. Ray Miller followed up, says, Space, that must mean the distance between your ears. Welcome to the show. We are glad that you're here. We ask that you gamble. It's college football championship night, but gamble with us. Let's hang out. Let's talk football. Hit that thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate it. So much stuff to talk about tonight. So much stuff, but we're glad that you're here. Let's start with something positive. How about it? How about Al Wilson inducted to the 2021 class College Football Hall of Fame? What'd you guys think about that? Well deserved.
Awesome. One of my all-time favorite Vols.
Absolutely. Doesn't get much better than Big Al. General of the defense, man. Quarterback of the defense.
Oh, yeah. Guy was the leader of 98 national championship team. Guy didn't care to jerk a knot in some hind ends if needed.
How many times
had some of those still on
need some more like that?
That's what I was about to say. How many times on this show do we say we need some Al Wilsons on this football team? Cody Branch is here bright and early, dropping a $10 super chat. Thank you, Cody, for the support. We greatly appreciate it. It says Pruitt will be fired, and some nobody will be hired. What JP? If that happens, if Jeremy Pruitt is fired and they hire some guy, and you got to Google his name, are you going to be pissed?
Sadly, no, because it's what I expect from the administration, and it's kind of where I'm at as far as the apathy goes. So, no, I won't, because honestly, that's what I would expect.
Par for the course. That's just what you expect to see. So let's get in. I know there's so many rumors. There's so many things. I've heard so many names. I dropped the video Friday because Jeff Fisher's name's getting thrown out there. Marrone. Why is Doug Marrone a name that comes up every single time there's a vacancy in Knoxville? Marrone and Steele both come up every single time. And today, Kevin Steele's name starts getting thrown around, and it's been thrown around for probably the last week. And everybody's thinking as a head coach, as a defensive coordinator. Well, Austin Price, VolQuest.com, said that Pruitt is working to finalize a deal to bring Kevin Steele as a defensive assistant, not even a defensive coordinator, which that's interesting. I saw that Jason Swain quote tweeted that and said he can work all he wants to. Let me know when something's done. Dauber, what do you think of this? Kevin Steele, not even a defensive coordinator, just a defensive assistant.
It's a bit confusing. We talked a little bit just before we went live. Are they bringing him in so they can pay him a buyout when Pruitt gets fired? I mean, it's just kind of funny. And I think Steele and Marrone and all these names kind of get thrown around every time we go through this cycle because of their ties to Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with T. Martin. Yes, T. Martin has a legacy in Knoxville, but honestly, if you look at his body of work, like we're looking at Pruitt's body of work, the wide receivers were not very good this year. Could that be because of quarterback play? Maybe. But this guy was fired from USC. And you've got people clamoring for him to be head coach, for him to be offensive coordinator.
No way.
I think maybe we need to step back, take the orange-colored glasses off, and look at some actual qualified people a proven successful winner to be a head coach. That's kind of where my line of thinking is. If we're moving away from Pruitt, one thing I was going to throw at you, from 2005 to 2020, Tennessee's had 4 different university presidents, 5 different chancellors, 4 ADs, 5 football coaches, and 9 losing seasons. It's the entire university. It's the administration all the way down to the head coach. They're not committed to football, and that's where we're at. And if we get a no-name Google coach that you don't know, this cycle is going to continue.
Let me ask you guys this, because this is something that comes up all the time on this show, is that the administration is not committed to winning. It's something JP says all the time, Dauber says all the time. Swain's counterpoint to that is, look at the salary of this coaching staff. Look at the assistant coaches. Look at the coordinators. Does that not tell you the amount of money that they're spending, JP? Does that not tell you that they are somewhat committed to winning if they're spending that much money?
Yeah, but what the frustrating part of it is they continue to do stupid stuff and hire people that obviously that can't get the job done, and it's over and over and over. I think there's probably a lot of politics involved in all this. There's too many, and honestly, I don't ever probably see it turning around unless somebody gets in there, and that's the problem. Somebody like, and I'm not saying Saban, but somebody that has the ability to tell all of these donors and all these people, say, hey, I'm the head football coach, and this program is going to be ran how that I want this program ran. And if you run off a bunch of old money or whatever, maybe that's what it's going to take. Maybe that is what that it is eventually going to take. But I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen down there. I think it's a lot like Texas. I think that and probably same extent like down there at Auburn. There's too many people that have money, I guess, that want to push things around, but there's no continuity. There's no synergy within the administration, any of that. That's working towards the common goal. Yeah, I mean, nobody is going to deny that they throw money around, because they have thrown so much money around in the last 12 years. I mean, they could have hired an exceptional coach, but that's the problem. For whatever reason, they just keep bringing in just really bad hires.
Well, apparently the money they spent on recruiting didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
what's going to be bad? What's going to be bad with that is if we get in trouble for 2 guys, supposedly Darnell Washington and Mims, neither one of them that has, Mims or both of them at Georgia, and we get in trouble over it, and Georgia's going to skate free from any of this. They're not going to go after them, and we can't even we're paying players or giving them benefits and don't even end up signing them.
My whole point opening up there was it goes beyond just the head coach. Board of trustees, the boosters, those power brokers kind of behind the scenes. But then Pruitt, yeah, he's had Fulmer basically come in, brand new weight room, because the strength and conditioning coach says, hey, I want to do it this way. Money for his assistant coaches. But you look at that money for assistant coaches. He has 1 remaining of his 11 from his first season. Yep. The turnover in coaches, that's the problem here. He's bringing in guys, and I think he's got a lot of guys that are successful recruiters. I think there are 3 former recruiter of the years on staff right now, but they're not developing. We saw regression at so many key positions this year, and I don't know how much of that is the coaches, or we keep going back to what Austin Pope said. You got guys that aren't wanting to put the work in, guys that aren't wanting to do it the right way. So, man, there's there's a lot going on right now, and I think that just feeds into the rumor mill and all the situations that we're discussing right now.
I think it's a combination of both, and you know, you have to bring in recruiting, you have to bring in recruiters, you have to bring in ball coaches too. You know, I think that's the reality of the situation. But I do want to go back as you're talking about assistant coaches and Jeremy Pruitt's. You know, he obviously has issues getting along with assistant coaches. I'm going to go back to this Matthew S. But let me say this first. We do have 234 people watching live right now. If you told me after the Texas A&M game that we would still be doing football live streams on January the 11th and we would have 230 people watching, I would say you are crazy. I want to say thank you, first of all, to you guys. You guys continue to show up every time we go live. We just hit 3,600 subscribers right before we went live. So thank you guys for that.
For a team that went 3-7.
3-7. What happens when we start winning? What happens? I hope you guys continue to show up and show out. We appreciate all the love. But I do ask that you just hit that thumbs up. We are at 73 right now. Let's get it to 100. But I want to go back to this comment and get the Indy Kid's opinion on this. Matthew S. says, hiring Steele before confirming Pruitt's job next year. Wonder if a new coach said they wanted Steele as part of their new contract. Not unheard of. Indy Kid, what do you think of that? The fact that they are going – it appears to be they're going to hire Steele. Do you think this is a way to calm everybody down? Because, you know, Tony Basilio was talking about it too. He was talking about it last night, and he said expect Steele to get a job, and he still is 90% leaning towards Pruitt getting fired.
I think it's interesting, and I think we've got to treat it at this point until we hear otherwise. I mean, we've got to assume Pruitt's coming back. From what I saw today, it said being hired, that they're talking about Pruitt to be hired Steele to be hired as part of Pruitt's staff. So, you know, again, is it that it appeases the fans for the time being or what? But it's strange. And I think what that tells us as well is we're going to find out pretty soon, one way or the other, what's going to happen there. But I mean, you know, I've seen the rumors today from a so-called insider on 24/7, maybe he's right or not, I don't know, but we're going to find out. But he's saying Marone is going to come in. He's bringing Steele and Garner with him, and Jay Graham's staying as well. And like you guys said on the GQ, there's so much stuff. I mean, people are throwing at walls, and you know, there's probably some people who do know and some that don't. But I mean, I don't know. Me looking at it, if they're specifically, but you know, it's kind of real vague too, because I've seen the mod saying, "Well, so does that mean Pruitt's back?" And it just, well, it's a fluid situation. Nothing's a done deal at this point. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I could see it either way. Either just as a defensive assistant, I guess that means your job could be anything, depending on. You know, if Pruitt comes back, does Ansley leave? You know, Niedermeyer, I think we pretty much know he's not coming back at this point. You need a defensive line replacement. I don't know, man. At this point, who knows? I could see it going either way. I know I was listening last night a little bit to Doug Matthews, and he actually he kind of went against him. He's like, you know, Jeremy Pruitt's going to be the coach next year. And then he turned around and he said, unless something's really bad, it's going to happen. He said, but y'all just need to plan on Jeremy Pruitt being the coach. And then he turned around and said, well, I've heard what the violations are. And, you know, if it's true what it is, they're going to be bad. So it's like he really went against himself there. And at one minute he's saying Pruitt's back. And then the next he's basically saying it's going to be bad enough that he's gone.
I think that's why the cover photo of this episode is chaos in Knoxville, because nobody has a clue what's going on. And I think so much is depending on that NCAA investigation or the internal investigation, whatever. But I want to kind of go down.
So are they saying that Steele could possibly be the DC, or are they saying just an assistant? I mean, I just can't imagine Steele coming in as an assistant, because I mean, I would imagine that he would have a lot of suitors as a coordinator.
Well, that's what I thought too. But what Austin Price, when he posted in the general's quarters, he said as a defensive assistant, because Kevin Steele's name has been thrown around as the head coach.
Yeah, I know. That's what it makes me think as an assistant. I mean, just as an assistant. So who knows?
That's what makes me wonder is, like I said, are they trying to calm down this fan base? And is it some type of deal where, hey, if Pruitt is fired and Pruitt's gone, you're still going to have a job, potentially defensive coordinator? I was no way when I saw it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's chaos.
I'll say this. I think, I'm one. I know people are going to throw off on Marone. If it's Marone, I don't think that's the worst hire in the world. I will be well honest with you guys, because he did a decent job at Syracuse. He went to the NFL with Buffalo. He did all right before he moved to Jacksonville, and he had them right there near the Super Bowl with Blake Bortles at quarterback. I know he's had obviously ended up getting fired, but he's not that bad of a coach. He has a lot of ties at Tennessee, and from my understanding, he was a good recruiter as well. So, and he's got a lot of in-state ties because his father-in-law was a longtime MTSU coach, I believe. So,
I think so. He was at Tennessee in 2001, right? From what I'm looking at, he was tight ends and offensive tackles coach in 01 underneath Fulmer.
I can't remember. So I think he maybe
says.
I can't remember if he went to. Did he go to the NFL from Tennessee?
Yeah. He went to the Jets as the O-line coach in 02. Stayed up there for four years. Then the Saints. He was coordinator at Saints. And the O-line coach. He was the offensive coordinator when Saints won the Super Bowl then, right? 2006 through 2008. Didn't they win the Super Bowl? And I can't remember.
I can't remember what year it was.
I think a big problem when you start looking at NFL coaches is people look at records and they see a guy's 500 in the NFL, which Marone's record is way lower than 500, but whatever. The NFL is so different than college football. You cannot look at a coach and say, well, he's 500. Every single Sunday, NFL teams have the opportunity to lose because it's an even playing field for the most part. And yes, you have your Patriots, you have your teams. I was going to say Steelers, but we all saw how that played out. You have your teams that are at the top, but for the most part, any NFL team can, it's not like college football. College football is so much different than the NFL. You can't look at records. Let me hit this super chat from Cody Branch. Another $5. Thank you, Cody. You've been paying my light bill this month. I appreciate your support, Cody. You're the man. Coastal Carolina's coach. Offense won't work in the SEC just based on the speed. On defense, if we hire him, then we will just dig the hole deeper. It's true. What he says is true. When you talk about Chadwell, yeah, he was the national coach of the year. But the reality is it's a gamble. He's another gamble. You just don't know. You don't know what you would get if he came here. I want to go back to Kevin Steele. Somebody had a comment. It's way gone. I can't see it anymore. But JP, I wanted to ask you about this. Do you think if they get this deal done, I keep saying deal with Steele, and I don't really like it, and I change my words. If they get the deal done with Steele, do you think that leads to Rodney Garner possibly coming to this staff? And then let's take it one step further, Big Cat Bryant. He entered his name into the transfer portal coming out of Auburn, actually a team captain this past season, also has ties to Shelton Felton.
I mean, I would definitely think that if all of that stuff plays out, I think that you'd probably stand a good chance to get Big Cat Bryant. I mean, I don't know about Gardner. I know that he's been a thorn in Tennessee's side since he left down there and went to Georgia and then and Auburn. So if Pruitt could somehow get those two, it would definitely, I think perk up this fan base a little bit as far as how they feel about Pruitt right now. But, you would think probably Gardner being the defensive line coach for Big Cat Bryant, you'd think that they would definitely have an in there. If he does end up, or if he is transferring. Now, is Big Cat a grad transfer? Because see, that's another piece of all this. All of these kids have put themselves in the portal Well, now the NCAA has supposedly delayed them voting on whether or not that they're going to do this one-time transfer rule or not. So what's going to happen with all those kids?
Yeah, that they dropped the ball on that. You've got to iron that out before these kids are entering the transfer portal, because I'm sure they're basing it on on the expectation that they're going to be able to transfer and play immediately.
If those kids are basing anything on the NCAA doing anything to benefit those kids, then they're basing it on the wrong thing, because the NCAA doesn't care anything about those student athletes. Anything.
Let me ask you guys this. Talking about Jeremy Pruitt coming back. If that is the case, if Jeremy Pruitt is coming back, Dauber, what excites you? Like, what can get you excited? Is a Kevin Steele as a defensive assistant? Let's say he does bring Gardner with him, and we get a big Cat Bryant transfer. Can you get excited for next season? Is there anything? What can Jeremy Pruitt do going into 2021 that will get you excited?
That's the thing. Is he going to take what he's learned from his 3 years as a head coach and make the adjustments to his style? Is he going to allow his coordinators and position coaches to do their jobs, or is he going to be involved with everything and meddle? Because that's really what it seems like has been going on. You bring in Jim Chaney, and you handcuff him and the offense by continuing to put out a quarterback that is not producing, because he is the one that kept saying he is our best chance to win. But you could watch the games. Go back and look. The offense completely changed when the quarterbacks flip-flopped. When you had Shrout or Maurer or Harrison Bailey in, it looked like a completely different offense.
And that's kind of continuing to build on that. You bring in the kid from Virginia Tech. He's a dual threat, a legitimate dual threat, which this team, I think, needs. You bring in the right coaches, like in with what you said. If he learns from his mistakes, he lets Jim Chaney take over this offense. There are things out there, the freshman wide receiver, there are things out there that if Jeremy Pruitt makes the right moves, the Indy kid could be eating that big, huge plate of crow. Let's be honest. All four of us will get a big serving of it if Jeremy. But I think maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I've lost my mind because we're still streaming in January. If he makes the right decisions, he can improve and get better. We can see progress.
Now, listen, and all four of us will agree. We want Pruitt to succeed. We want whoever is the head coach to succeed, because that means Tennessee's football is succeeding. But things cannot continue the way they're going. So something's got to change, be it the head coach position or the head coach's mindset and how he approaches the position. That's the bottom line right there. Pruitt's either got to go or Pruitt's got to change his ways.
And we've not seen that. We've not seen that to this point. Let me hit this super chat. Jamie West for $5. Thank you so much, Jamie, for the support. We appreciate it. Says, hey, Andy kid, this is for you, buddy. Doug Matthews is Fulmer's friend, so anything he says is not credible. Yeah, that's
I didn't say he was. I made a point that he contradicted himself. So no. You said it 3 times now. I got the point the first 3 times. So
hey, let them say it until they do a super chat.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I was just making a point about how he contradicted himself right there. That was it. I never actually listened to him. That's, I think, the first time I've ever listened to him. So, no, I don't put a lot into it, but, nobody seems to. The ones that do know aren't saying a whole lot right now. So,
that's because
it's just kind of funny how you contradicted.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would say that there's probably 5 or less people down there that are truly in the know as far as what is actually going on with this. All these people running these message boards, my sources are saying this,
it's chaos. It is complete chaos.
You're not going to be doing that. Anybody that has any kind of knowledge with this is not going to be having that that loose of lips that they're telling some random person that jumps on some message board and starts giving some cryptic information. Yes, now there is some people on there that from time to time have some good, credible stuff that does end up happening, but 99.9% of the time, it's just a bunch of bull. It's just a big old bunch of BS.
I know one time it was when Kiffin left. Of course, I was still living back in Tri-Cities, and I was working still doing electrical at the time. And one of the plants I was in, we were doing work. The owner is a big booster down there. I won't go any further than that, but I got to know him a little bit, and he would not give me anything. I'm like, hey, who we hiring here? And he just said, well, I'll just tell you, we're going to hire a good coach. I can't say any more than that. And it's like, man. So yeah, the ones that know, they're not out here just broadcasting it to anybody to turn around and go post it on social media or a message board or anything like that. So, I think your mods, your VolQuest, your 247 mods, I think they have an idea of what's going on. I think they're still getting news because people's trusted them and because they don't just go out here and broadcast every little thing they hear. But I think it's getting close. I think that we'll know if they're talking hires and stuff. I think we're getting real close to find out. And if you're going to make a change, you need to do like Texas did. You need to have them ready to go, whomever it is.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Buddy at work today. I said, we'll know if Pruitt is fired, whether or not that this administration has their stuff together by how long that it takes them to hire the next coach. Because if they do it like Texas, then it gives me a little bit of, okay, they have learned through some of these mistakes and they were back channeling and getting things done while they were finishing up this investigation or whatever and had it ready to go. If it takes another week to 10 days, if he is fired, then that just proves right there again that this bunch has no clue how to run a football program or anything of any substance whatsoever.
You mean you don't want to see another Shiano Sunday?
Yeah. No, I don't.
No, I'll say this: if it's Marone, and I don't know Marone's I don't think he'd be that bad, but I would say this: back at about 2000, whenever it was, if I was a USC fan and Pete Carroll got announced, I probably wouldn't have been terribly excited there either. And that worked out pretty well. I'm not saying it. I mean, you never know. I think Tennessee could do a whole lot worse. Jeremy Pruitt, cough, cough, than Marone. But, and I'm just not sold on – I don't know about some of the – maybe Chadwell's great. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I saw somebody mention Joe Brady. I've thought about that. But that kind of goes back to the point we mentioned. Do you want another assistant to come in and cut their teeth at Tennessee? I think we talked about that the last time. And
almost sounds
Joe Brady would be exciting. But
oh, yeah. Almost sounds like Brady, though, has more interest in NFL.
Yeah.
It's what what it kind of sounds like to me. We got Adam Lester's dying to know who that we want as coach.
I was trying. I mean, it's been copy and pasted 72 times. I was waiting on a super chat before I addressed it. But since JP brought it up, I guess we'll go ahead and address it now. If you copy and paste enough, you don't have to do a super chat. Just do this for me. We got 314 people watching live. Hit the thumbs up. We got 126. I'm going to lose my mind if the number doesn't go. Okay, yeah, it's going up now. Yeah, just keep hitting it. Keep hitting it because I'm going to get mad and yell at these three if we don't get more thumbs up. I'm going to blame them for their negative attitudes, and then we're going to have problems. Somebody's probably going to get fired, and then there's going to be a Talkin VAWLS coaching search. So if you want a Talkin VAWLS coaching search, don't hit thumbs up. If you don't, then do. Let's just get those thumbs up going, guys. 321 people watching live. We're glad that you're here. And I would appreciate some thumbs up on top of it. Adam Lester, it is a good question. It's a good question. Who do y'all want as a coach? Seriously, JP, I guess he doesn't care what we think. He just wants to know what JP thinks. Let me know. Okay, let's talk about it. Who do we want as a head coach? Here that comes Ray Miller. Freeze, and nobody else. Let's be realistic about this thing, okay? Let's talk about who we want as a coach, but let's be realistic. I don't want to hear Nick Saban. Nick Saban's who I want as a coach because, you know, Kevin, even Urban Meyer. Yeah, well, you're laughing about it, so I'm with you, Kevin. I get you. That's what I'm saying. Let's be realistic about this. Dauber, I'll let you kick it off. I'll put you on the hot seat first. Who is your realistic candidate? This is Tennessee football. This is what we've come to. Jeremy Pruitt hasn't been fired, and we're having a coaching search and have been for weeks, over a month probably at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw somebody talking about they don't want an NFL coach. You can't, and Boogie, you alluded to that earlier. You can't base somebody how they're going to do in college versus how they do in the NFL. I mean, look at Spurrier, look at Saban. Saban wasn't great in the NFL. You've got guys that have tried it. It's a different game. I was reading something yesterday about the Browns and their turnaround. And, I guess Haslam wasn't the problem at Tennessee a couple years ago because look at how they've turned around Cleveland and all. It's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
There's salary caps. There's free agency. You're bringing people in. You can flip an NFL team in a couple of years, whereas you don't have the right coaching staff. You don't recruit well. You're in a situation like we're in right now. It's been 15, 20 years of just a cycle of bad mistakes from the top of the administration down through the coaching staff, and that brings in players that don't get it done, and it breeds a system of mediocrity and just a loser's mentality, and that's what Tennessee's fell into, and it's sad because we don't want to see that. Back to the question, man, I don't know. Like Indy Kid said, I don't think Marrone would be that bad. I think Boogie was pushing for Malzahn.
Spoiler alert.
I don't know that he would be that bad. But does he want to come back into the SEC? Does he want to coach next year? Like I said a few minutes ago, something's got to give. Either Pruitt's got to go and we've got to bring somebody in, or Pruitt's got to change. I wouldn't be opposed to Pruitt staying if he brings in some coaches that can coach and we see improvement. Now I'm probably going to get shellacked for that, but I don't really want to throw out a name just to throw out a name, though, if that makes sense. I don't know about Fisher.
Did Dauber even give us an answer? What just happened?
He said, I don't know.
It's a fluid situation.
That's good. He left it open for the three of us to give our opinions, and we can carry on this conversation. Kevin Bear says, I'd take Gus. I'd take Gus. Guys, this is insane. We are almost to 350 people watching live. I don't remember what our record was this year. Do you guys remember? I already forgot.
Nobody remembers. 400, I think. After
400 something.
Yeah, and we got beat by like 20-some points.
It's January the 11th, and we have 350 people watching. You guys are awesome. We're glad that you're here. You guys keep showing up. We're going to keep doing streams. We may talk about fishing in a few weeks. I don't know. We'll keep streaming because you guys keep showing up, and we appreciate it. Indy Kid, you're up, buddy. What do you got? Who's at the top of your list? You can give me a few names, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I've got a few guys. I think now that we've mentioned Fisher, I saw Kalen on here mentioned you'll see Fisher at the end. Yeah, I'm not on the Fisher wagon either right there. It just kind of seemed I think we can do a whole lot better than Jeff Fisher, just to be honest with you. And if you're going to go ex-NFL guy, you're going Marrone or Bill O'Brien. I think either one of them could be all right. But I like Fickle from Cincinnati. I like him. I don't know if he would come down here or not. I've heard he's a Midwest guy, but one of the things I'd heard about Fickle was, and I've seen people mention Matt Campbell as well earlier. Both of those would be really good hires, but from what I've gathered, they're both Midwest guys, and I'd heard they were both holding out for the Michigan job, but obviously Harbaugh got an extension now, but I think Fickle and Campbell, but I don't know how much they'd be willing to listen right there. Obviously, I think Freeze would walk to Knoxville, and I think Freeze would be a great hire. But if you're getting, I got cracked on because I made the comment king of violations. Obviously, it was, but Freeze would be a great hire. There's no doubt about it. I think he would put some excitement back in the program. I think he would win. I think he would recruit lights out in Tennessee. But I just don't see Tennessee going that route, especially, just based on history and all. I mean, Malzahn, I think Malzahn would be a decent hire. I definitely could get on board with him. I see guys mentioning Kiffin. He ain't coming back, guys. That's not happening. And I really think Marone could be a decent hire. I mean, I just think he would. I just think there's some stuff. He's familiar with the program. I think everybody would be on, not necessarily fans, but I think, I think you're getting your administration on the same page because everybody's kind of from the top down. He's a former guy, Marone is. I think you could do worse, right? I see Tom Herman mentioned. Tom Herman, I don't know, he kind of comes off as a prick to me a little bit, which Jeremy Pruitt is too. But I don't know. Is Tom Herman going to give himself to? Is he going to be personable here, or is he just going to be one of these? I don't know. I'm kind of not on the Herman. We could do worse, but yeah, I'm kind of like Dauber, man. I threw some names out, but I just don't know. I really think it. Obviously, Freeze, but I don't think Freeze will have Bickle and Campbell. Well, like I said, most of my guys, I don't even know if they're realistic. So
do you think Marone is a long-term answer, or do you think he's somebody that you bring in to kind of stabilize and get the tide turned and back to kind of consistency?
How old is Marone?
He's just in his mid 50s, so yeah. I mean,
but do you think he's going to win a national championship? Is I think what Dauber's asking.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I'm not expecting a national championship, fellas. No. Heck, I just want to get back to beating with the East.
I think based on
Jeff Fisher,
he was doing all right at Syracuse.
Yeah,
I think
he could hire Fisher.
No, I already dressed Fisher right there. No way, man. Fisher was washed up when. Who knows? Maybe some time off will do him good, but I can't see it. But
there you go. There's a John Gruden name.
Yeah, Gruden Groomers.
Oh yeah. Well, being a Raiders fan, I've seen the Gruden stuff. I don't know if you. I know it's everybody's joking, but yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that Gruden stuff. The genius everybody claims. He's had some questionable calls in games over the last couple of years, but I think we could do a whole lot worse than Marone. I'll be honest with you. I really do. I think he's realistic, and I don't think he's that bad of a coach. And one thing that's not been mentioned, guys, and I thought it was peculiar timing, but you've got Hendon Hooker from Virginia Tech. I think that could be a game changer for us.
And that excites me. That name excites me. It really does. Especially if Pruitt, if Pruitt is back, and going back to the conversation Dauber was talking earlier, does he grow? Does he let Jim Chaney do what Jim Chaney wants to do? I think Hendon Hooker, man, he excites me. And that's a guy that I could see coming in and winning the job over Harrison Bailey.
I would expect him to.
I don't expect Salter to come in as a true freshman and get to play. Based on 2020, that probably ain't going to happen. So Hendon Hooker's a man. I don't understand it. I dropped the video Friday and talked about it. Why would anybody transfer here with everything that's going on? I don't know.
Swain talked about it and said I think we probably all think the same. Maybe the guy just sees an opportunity. Always, I think it's just a matter of time before Maurer leaves. Maybe not. And then you've got Bailey and possibly, and then of course Salter is signed right now. Now, if a coaching change happens, will these letter of intents be null and void at that point? But Yeah, I thought the same thing, Brandon. but
Oh, goodness.
but I think you're bringing in Hooker to win the job.
Bringing in
No
Hooker
doubt.
to bring Freeze to the hill. That's what it's
I'm
all
telling
about.
you.
The
I
Hooker's
think-
coming in to do the job.
Yeah. I think that was a sign that Freeze is coming.
Let me hit the super chat from Cody Branch. Thank you, Cody. You're showing up and showing out. You're showing them the way. How do you get your comment read, Cody? You drop money on Talkin VAWLS. We appreciate the support. Guys, Butch Jones gave us our best years of football since Fulmer left, and that mainly goes to the ones who say, remember the last coach from Cincy.
Well, I see a lot of people saying, well, you need 5 years. In year 3 of Butch Jones in Knoxville against Oklahoma, stadium absolutely rocking. Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma players have said it's the loudest they've ever heard it. Up 17-3 in the fourth quarter. And how many losses during that year? In year 3, it can be done if you get a guy in there to do it. Butch Jones somehow got away with what got him to that point. I think he made some bad
Hires.
let goes and hires right there. But you can absolutely get somebody in who in year 3 can have you competing at a high level.
Yep, I agree. I got crucified on this channel for my defense of Butch Jones. And like you said, he did make some mistakes. He made some dumb decisions that eventually cost him his job. But I think he could have been a good coach. But that's irrelevant. Break out your Arkansas State merchandise. How about JG going to Washington State? I thought for sure he was going to reunite with Butch. And I wish that kid all the success in the world. I think he would have had more success at a place like Arkansas State. But
They said, from what I read, is Washington State's got a real good quarterback guy up there. He said it was a pretty smart choice by him.
How about Will Friend being a coach at 3 SEC schools in a matter of like a week and a half?
A week and a half, yeah.
well,
What's up with that?
That was in our group text talking about Butch Jones. He's had what? How many offensive coordinators since he took over the job at Arkansas State? 3? I think he's had 3 offensive coordinators. It's crazy. It's crazy. They're just spending money left and right, but Tennessee won't spend the money on a head coach. Let me say this. We got 365 people watching live right now. 3 of those 365 people hate us. 190 of those people love us, and some of you are just still trying to decide. So it's probably my fault, and I apologize. But if you like the other 3, hit that thumbs up. Takes 2 seconds. Right down below the video, just hit that little thumbs up. It helps the channel. It drives the channel. It sends it out to more ball fans, and because of you guys showing up each and every week, 3,600 subscribers today. We appreciate the support. JP, you're on the hot seat. Who you got? Who do you want as head coach?
Well, I mean, everybody that's watched this show for the last 2-3 months or whatever knows that I'm on the Hugh
Joe
Freeze
Gibbs?
train.
Joe Gibbs?
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I wish it's Gibbs, but no. I mean, I think Hugh Freeze makes the absolute most sense, but also it doesn't make sense. I don't think that Tennessee is going to hire Freeze, but he will end up in the SEC and will be a thorn in our side within a couple of years, and we'll be sitting back probably going, told you, but Tennessee just will not do it. They will not do it. I wish they would. I think he would bring tons of excitement to this program, and I think that he would have Tennessee competing within a couple of years. But unfortunately, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think if we do move on, I think it'll be kind of like Rock or Indy Kid saying, I think you probably look at Doug Marrone, and I think that you'll probably look at Chadwell. The one that I would go after if I was really serious about it outside of Freeze is I would definitely be calling Matt Campbell. Looks like his salary is about $3.5 million a year. I'd say, buddy, I'm going to double that to 7 and bring you to Knoxville. But again, this football program and these administrators will hire somebody for 4 and then pay them 4 times that to fire them 3 years later because that's just what this administration does.
Let me answer this because I think Carl's talking to me directly. Do you think we should have kept Butch? No. And I'm on record on this channel towards the end of Butch's run at Tennessee. I was done.
Oh no,
I was done.
It ran its course.
Yeah,
you had to get rid of him. My gosh, he was in trouble for paying or playing players that had should have been on concussion protocols and all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
the way he handled Hurd and Kamara, all that stuff. He made a lot of mistakes, but a lot of people, if you look back, Indy Kid talking about year 3, a lot of people were over Butch Jones in year 3. I started to say the same thing JP said. Indy Kid, you were here, you were on the show during that Butch Jones run, right?
I think I came in on that last year, actually, when the crap hit the fan. Adam Lester's pretty adamant JP is coach, just saying.
He would never punt, I'll say that. Jonathan Rice for $4.99. Thanks for the super chat, Jonathan. We appreciate it. Head coach Hugh Freeze, offensive coordinator Tom Herman, defensive coordinator Kevin Steele, defensive line coach Gardner, running back coach Jay Graham, offensive line coach Marone. Yeah, well,
sign them up. Yeah.
They still got to have tight ends coach Jason Witten.
Yeah,
tight ends coach, maybe.
He doesn't have a quarterback coach.
Hey, that's Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning.
Peyton's going to step in there. It's all good, man. It's all good. Linebackers coach Al Wilson.
Al Wilson. Yeah, heck, fellas,
we've done it. Call Knoxville.
Yeah,
John Henderson, defensive line coach. I mean, or
I'd go with Hainsworth since he hates me so much.
We'll get him there and get you a press pass.
That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. Jiu-jitsu only works to a certain extent. When you're dealing with a 350-pound gorilla, I don't want to fight Albert Hainsworth. Guy's a monster.
In an orange gi.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. You guys have touched on everything really at this point. I can just say, I said Gus Malzahn. That's probably the guy that I'm hitching my wagon to. There's some guys. I think if Chadwell, if he got hired, I think I would have a little bit of excitement about that. Even though I know it's a gamble, I know that, but I would still have some excitement about him and what he's done at Coastal Carolina. But I don't know, man. You guys talking about bringing in a guy that's what would you call it, Dauber?
A Google guy or something.
Like not an interim, but a guy that's kind of bridging the gap to the guy. And let's call it like it is. Jeremy Pruitt, his win-loss record doesn't show anything, but I think we would all be in agreement that he has improved this roster. And that's something that we talked about. We need somebody that can improve this roster. Maybe he's not the guy, but he gets us to the guy. Who could be the guy? Hugh Freeze could possibly be it, but even that, man, I know that's the big sexy name that everybody's talking about. Everybody loves Hugh Freeze. They think he's going to come in and be winning SEC championships immediately. I don't know that that's the truth, man. I don't know that that's the truth.
I think you'd have them competing. I think you'd have. I'm not saying they'd be beating Florida or Georgia, but I think they would. I think it would be a lot more competitive. I think within. The thing you got to look at, and you mentioned, I think Pruitt's definitely flipped the roster to the better. But with this one-time transfer thing, especially if they come up and do officially approve it, who's to say how many's going to hit the road? Because it's still possible. And then you've got, if a coaching change is made, are they going to, let these early signees out of their letter of intent? That's why if you make a change, you better have somebody ready to go so they can re-recruit. Not only the guys that have signed, but also the current players. You can't screw around with it for 2 weeks and then let everybody get gone.
Do you think there is some shady stuff going on in Knoxville right now? When's National Signing Day? February?
I'm not sure what day it actually is. It's the first Wednesday in February.
Surely to goodness this thing doesn't drag out that long.
Can't.
Well, that's the thing. You got to look at what this whole situation, Pruitt being in limbo, nothing really being said by anybody. Fulmer came out and gave him, a vote of confidence when we got the bowl bid. But that's all that's been said. It's been too quiet. If he's going to be the coach, why hasn't Fulmer stepped up and said, Jeremy Pruitt is our coach for next season? It's just, you got to look at what the damage that's being done to this program by being quiet.
The crazy thing, though, is it's because of this internal investigation, right?
Right.
These investigations go on all the time, and we don't know about them. But because it leaked and we all know about it. That's why everybody's so antsy and we're all up in arms trying to figure out what's going on.
You've got players hitting the transfer portal. And granted, yeah, a lot of those were guys that we've heard of the day they signed and nothing else since then. But you've got some guys that have contributed. You've got recruits that are reopening their recruitment that are just kind of like, what's going on. You've got the staff. Some of those guys are just defecting. Will Friend is Pruitt's buddy in his wedding. And he's at, peace, deuces, I'm out. Did he see the writing on the wall? Does he know something that hasn't been publicly put out? What started as, just internal investigation, these whispers of impermissible benefits and paying players, illegal recruitment, keeping everything so hush-hush. Yeah, maybe they're looking to save money in the long run and have hiring the lawyers and the firm to investigate this. They're looking to get out of this massive buyout with Pruitt. But look at what you're doing right now with this situation in limbo. Are you actually saving money, or are you causing more harm to the program? That's those things you got to look at.
And I will say this, to that note, from what they're reporting on VolQuest, that Fulmer has been working the phones. He's been calling not only current players, their parents. He's been calling future recruits. Fulmer's working the phone line, trying to let people know, hey, everything's going to be okay. I would love to be on that phone call and hear what he is saying. Another super chat from Jonathan Ross, $4.99. Thanks so much, Jonathan. We appreciate the support tonight. Head coach Hugh Freeze, defense coordinator still, maybe the OC from Ole Miss, since he has been picking Lane's mind. Let me say this, and I didn't really mention it earlier because Lane Kiffin's not coming back to Knoxville, but if he was, I would be the first one in line for season tickets. I would be so excited.
I mean, I would say at this point, can Pruitt really come back? I mean,
it'd be hard. It'd be hard.
With everything that's going on, I mean, I just can't fathom it at this point. And I know there's probably the truth somewhere in between with all of it, but I don't know, man. If there's any of this truth behind the scenes, how can he really come back?
I know. And that's what doesn't make sense about all this Kevin Steele stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense because, you would think that if they're going to let him maybe at least interview coaches and stuff like that, but if they truly aren't letting him hire coaches, you would know that Kevin Steele knows that. You would think. So why would he even be wasting his time? I don't know.
Unless there's some truth to having a Maroon or somebody lined up. I'm like you when I saw that. It just totally, it doesn't make sense. But the thing with Steele is we know at this point he's not above being in some shady business, obviously, after what went on at Auburn. So I don't think that guy is worried about hurting feelings too much. So.
This is a great super chat from Jimbo. Thanks, Jimbo, for the support. We appreciate it. Also, a member of the channel. If you want to also become a member, you can do it right below. It's underneath subscribe. Hit the join button. 99 cents a month. You get access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. We got some fun ones down there for you guys to play with tonight. But Jimbo says, my mom loves the show, except when you say PO'd, maybe say perturbed. Miss Jimbo, we'll do that. And thank you. I'm glad you love the show. I'll try to do a better job. Although it's probably JP that said it. I'm just being honest.
It's probably a good thing Jimbo's mom isn't in our group text.
Especially on game days with JP. He says stuff, and then it just triggers me to cuss him. I don't know what it is. Eminem, my name is. Thanks for the super chat. $4.99 says, thanks for helping me get through this season. Thanks you, Eminem. You guys make it worth our while. I'll tell you what, you guys – I know I'm beating a dead horse, but you guys amaze me. It's amazing to me that my wife actually sent me a text while we're live and says 400 people are watching you four idiots right now. I don't get it, but we love you guys.
I'm a little bit offended by that.
Yeah, I know. Tell Miss Boogie that I'm a little bit offended by that idiot's comment.
Actually, well, if I'm being honest, she said 400 people are watching those 3 idiots and you. So,
I know.
Yeah.
we're almost to an hour, but you guys keep throwing money at us. We'll go all the way up to kickoff of the national championship game.
There's a football game tonight?
This is for Miss Jimbo. I was going to cuss, but heck, I may even watch the whole game with you all tonight. I'll just let the 3 of them sign off, and me and 400 of my friends will watch the game together. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I may be.
You know who's going to be cussing tomorrow and late tonight, don't you?
What? Who?
Alabama when they get beat.
Is that? You really think so? You really?
Yes.
Think so?
Yeah, I think Ohio State's taking them tonight.
Oh, that's where I kind of
I can see it happening.
The show. Really? I don't see it. I think
I think Ohio State's got the offense to go with them, and Ohio State's D ends are some bad dudes.
They're
Mac
fresh.
Jones is not the most mobile guy in the world.
They haven't played as many games. I don't even think they should be. They shouldn't have been in the playoffs to begin with. When your conference has to, make an adjustment so you get in the conference championship, let's let them in.
Well, let me say this
here. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, well, when you go down that route saying they don't belong, because I was on board with that too, and I was like, I hope Clemson runs them out of the stadium, and then they beat Clemson. If they come in and beat Alabama tonight, they deserve to be there.
Yeah, but look at what they've put on tape: 6 games to 10 games. Look at how many
and beat Clemson and beat Alabama. It's hard to. And if you want to go down the argument of they're more fresh, I get that. They've not been through the grind. I can get on board with that.
Now, Brandon Blackwell mentions down 3 to 4 starters. Is Ohio State down 3 to 4?
That's a game changer there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
that's right. So if that's the case, that might make it a bit harder, right
and
there.
Robert, that's what I wonder too. Just how healthy Fields is.
Yeah.
I just wonder. I never did hear. Of course, I didn't really care enough to even follow up on it, but I didn't hear what his injury was after the semifinal game when he got speared in the.
They don't release
side.
They don't release their injuries.
So I didn't know.
2 Ohio State defensive linemen too. Yeah, that's big.
Is it because of COVID, I wonder? Or
that's what he said. Was 2 of them for COVID. Because I know they were talking about, I think, maybe postponing the game.
Kickers out. No, they ain't. They're not going to do that. Now, if it was Bama that was down the players, it already been postponed for sure. Because Saban would have made sure of that.
There you go, JP.
Even Saban was positive again. They would have postponed it. I mean.
So what do you guys think? Tracy Brown with an interesting point. I always root for SEC teams, but I will never say Roll Tide or wear that ugly crimson, regardless of who you're picking. I used to always pull for the SEC. I wanted to see the SEC succeed until Tennessee started sucking, and then my mindset changed. I never pull for the SEC ever. I hope Ohio State runs them off the field.
Yeah, I won't pull for the SEC. There's some teams, I mean, the ones that we really don't have any beef with that, if they get in, have a good game, so be it. Whatever, like an A&M or something. I mean, I don't have anything against Texas A&M or anything like that. But, Bama, Florida, Georgia, I hope they get beat anytime they play.
Especially recruiting competition.
I mean, especially Alabama and Georgia. Auburn, I mean, I still go back to the old days before the split divisions. Auburn was the main rival with Bama. I have a deep hate for Auburn, and still to this day over it. But I mean for recruiting purposes, because it doesn't help Tennessee at all. I've heard the argument, well, we need Bama to win because it helped. No, it doesn't help Tennessee one bit for Bama to win the national championship. It's actually the opposite on that.
I will say that the only time, I mean, I wasn't openly rooting for them, but I was actually would have rather seen Bama win there, 2-3 years ago when they were playing Georgia. I was like, because at this point in time, Bama's Bama. the last thing that we need is Georgia to start winning national championships. I mean, they're already recruiting at a crazy level. So my thoughts were, just let Bama continue to win because they can only get so many players. But then if you got Georgia win national championships, I have to say last year I was actually pulling for LSU over Clemson because Clemson, have stole enough of our recruits over the last 4 or 5 years. So with that,
I'm down here pretty heavily in Clemson. There's actually I'm an hour from Columbia, but there's probably more Clemson people down here. There's not been a lot of talking down here in the last week or so from the Bright Orange. Not
I'd say they're pretty
got a
quiet.
little bit of attitudes down here somewhat, but there's not been. I'll kind of make a comment and they'll just kind of and then they're done with it. There's nothing else to say, but I don't know. I thought Ohio State until that COVID might change my mind there.
Hopkins lacrosse fan for $5. Thanks, Hop. Says, good evening, gentlemen, and happy natty evening. Rumor has it that JP has a live arm and may go in at QB if Fields can't finish. There's possibility. If they'd have played him, we would have won state. I was thinking about you today. I was thinking about old Hop today because I was thinking about, man, I'm so ready for COVID to be over and move on. And I was thinking about going up there and watching Hopkins lacrosse, and it made me go watch that video of him, watching that video of him, going to watch lacrosse. Oh, what a great video they put out. Such good stuff. But
speaking of quarterbacks, I have to give a shout out to my Washington Redskins, Taylor. I can't even pronounce his name.
They don't exist. What are you talking about?
Taylor.
Who?
Heineke or whatever. What a performance that kid put out Saturday night. I know that they lost, but I'm telling you what, that was absolutely, considering the guy was taking grad courses in December and hadn't even been with the team for 30 days and comes out there and performs like that. I just thought that was just amazing. I thought that was absolutely amazing.
How do you still care?
Dude, I have been a Redskin fan longer than I have been a Tennessee fan. I mean, I was a Redskin fan when I was pooping diapers, man.
So, like what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
And I was 10 years old.
Man.
10 years old when they won the Super Bowl, and this is the breaking point. I'm
30
done.
Years, man.
I'm done. I checked out this year. I'm not buying new merchandise, but I tell you what, the Preds.
Oh, I'm not buying any merchandise.
The Preds dropped the puck this week. I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be great. Let's make some predictions. I'm clearly not going to stay online all night unless somebody drops $100 super chat. Then I may do it. But let's make predictions on the national championship game tonight. Dabra, what do you got? What's your score?
You put me on the hot seat first earlier.
JP, what's your score tonight? National championship game. What do you got?
Well, I mean, I was with the Indy kid on it until someone was talking about if Ohio State has several starters out. I think that changed the ball game. But I was going to say that no, it's not the Washington football team. No, sorry, but I was going to say that I was really impressed with the way that they came out and absolutely dominated Clemson, and I thought that their offense could probably control the clock, and because that's the only way that you can beat Bama is to keep Bama's offense off the field. With that, and I said if Justin Fields could replicate the performance that he had against Clemson, I certainly thought that Ohio State could get them. But if they got players down, I'm going to go Bama 47 and Ohio fake 30.
Me at this super chat from Kyle. Kyle, we're petitioning for you to be the strength and conditioning coach, but we appreciate the support. $4.99 super chat says nothing profound today, just a thanks. If it was my decision, it would be Freeze. I truly believe he could turn it around almost instantly. I would get excited. If Hugh Freeze was. I just don't see it, especially after the investigations. But thanks for the super chat, Kyle. We definitely appreciate it. Indy Kid, what do you got? What's your score for tonight?
I'm sticking with what I got. Ohio State 47, Alabama 41.
Ooh, that's a high score.
Yeah,
so
I
he's
don't
sticking
think.
with it.
Yeah, because I mean, you know what Bama and Florida was, and I think I don't think either team's going to stop each other. I think it'll come down to when it matters. I think those Ohio State defensive ends, if they're not, I think they'll somewhere along the line they'll make the plays that win the game for them.
They're throwing money at us, trying to get us to stay on. I mean, the national championship game's not coming on for another 39 minutes. If they keep throwing money, I'll make you guys work all night. Cody Branch for $5 says Ohio State 45, Alabama 56. I just think Bama will pull away in the end. A lot of high scoring predictions. I forget what the over under was on the points. I can't. It's pretty high though. Man,
it started out
high.
at 70 some. They said it was like the highest ever in a championship game.
It's pretty high. I think it's going to be pretty high scoring. I think Alabama wins. I don't know, 38-28, something like that. Maybe. I think they win easily. It may be close in the first half, and then I think they'll pull away a little bit. But I just don't see Ohio State hanging around. What do you got, Dauber? You're last. You had time to soak it in. Do your research. You were probably on Google. It's fine. What do you got?
When we close this down, shut it down, I'm going to go upstairs, eat dinner, and probably watch a couple episodes of Designated Survivor.
We thought about restarting that last night.
We're on season 2. I really don't care. I saw a couple of people saying, "Oh, you picked Ohio." I didn't pick anybody yet. I haven't said anything. I didn't say Ohio State was going to win, and I don't care if Bama wins. I don't care. I might get up in the morning and check ESPN to see who won. I'm not gonna. I'll watch a little bit of it. I don't care. It's not the Vols. I don't know why everybody seems to think that I pull for all these other teams.
I don't know, man.
You know, you got the kid that hurt his leg, Waddle. He's
playing.
Supposedly, game time decision. You throw him out there. If they try to double team Devonta or whatever, I think even a 75-80% Waddle on the other side. We've seen it all year. This Bama team isn't the Bama of years ago that's built on defense. Saban has changed and adapted, which, if Pruitt can do that, can he turn around Knoxville? Can he turn this program around? Saban did. He changed to the style of play that is successful in the SEC now. The scoring 40, 45 points a game. I think Bama's too much. I think that they have been tested. Ohio State has not. Yeah, Ohio State put it to Clemson. But how many times have I heard people on this show say, it's the ACC, it's weak? And I'm looking at these guys over here.
I agree. I just picked Alabama. I don't even think it's close.
I know. I think Bama's too much for Ohio State, and Ohio State hasn't been tested. I think it's not going to be as high-scoring game as some of those that have been thrown out. I'm going to say 35-24, Alabama.
All right, there you have it. The predictions are in. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Look, it's been a long season. You guys have made it awesome. If news breaks, we'll go live. It is. We had almost 400 people in here tonight. It's insanity. You guys continue to show up. We'll talk about our favorite chili recipes. I do not care. If you guys keep showing up, we'll keep streaming. We'll do cooking with Boogie. I do not care. We'll be here as long as you guys are here. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you have not done so yet, please do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. Dauber's got news.
Got basketball coming.
Basketball tomorrow night, 7 p.m. tip-off. They'll go live immediately after. Make sure you tune in for that. Also, They've got new Talkin VAWLS stickers coming soon. So make sure you tune in. They're going to be doing some sticker giveaways. We got the Talkin VAWLS basketball shirts are still available. The links to all that are in the description. Talkin VAWLS State Pride. I've got the new hoodie on. Great, good merchandise. If you want to, show some love for the show, but also it's free advertising for us, and we greatly appreciate it. But I think that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Like I said, if you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. But for Dauber, for VAWLS JP, for the Indy Kid, I am Boogie Bentley. We will see you guys soon. And I just got one thing left to say. That is go big orange.
The songs howl like me, poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit falls on